What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Jaime Dee Show. Woo! Actually, pause. I just realized I forgot the best part of the Jaime Dee Show. Hold on. I gotta bring this to Chicago slash Elgin area. Welcome to the Jaime Dee Show. Woo! Live on WRMN AM 1410 and also live in Las Vegas, Nevada on KSHP AM 1400 and 107.1 FM every Monday through Friday. Welcome in. It's super exciting to be here. I'm so happy to be in the Elgin and Chicagoland community on WRMN AM 1410. Y'all, I'm on air. I'm live in Chicago and live in Vegas. Super excited. For those who are listening in their cars right now, thank you so much for not turning the radio dial. And for those who are listening on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook, I appreciate you. We're live on The Jaime Dee Show. That's TheJaimeDeeshow. If you want to see all the behind the scenes, go to the streaming platforms again, either YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, or Facebook at The Jaime Dee Show. Welcome in, everybody. For those who are listening in the Elgin Chicagoland community, this is a new show for you all, but this show has been going on for about 6 months out of Vegas. And this show covers entertainment, pop culture, social issues, and more. And I'm bringing that to the Elgin slash Chicagoland community. I'm super excited for you all to go on this journey with me and to get to know me. So before I actually get into my show rundown, I actually want to introduce myself and let everybody know who I am. So my name is Jaime Dee. I was actually born and raised in Chicago, Illinois. I moved all throughout the Chicagoland area and ended up in Oswego for high school, graduated from Oswego High School in 2012. And after I graduated, I went to Miami, Florida, where I went to Florida International University and got my bachelor's in communication arts. I did a summer semester in NC State, go Wolfpack. And then after I graduated, I moved to Atlanta, Georgia. And that's where I got my start in the industry. That's where I truly got into the radio and TV industry. There, I worked for Street 24/5, Mix, and a bunch of other different radio stations. I did a lot of breaks, commercials, part-time work, interviews. I had a really, really good time in Atlanta. And that's where I also got my start in TV. So I have 4 TV shows, the main character on TV One, Oxygen, the ID channel, and more. And so with those shows, I have 4 that I'm the main character in. And if you've ever heard of like Fatal Attraction, Atlanta Homicide, Killer Couples, those are a lot of huge shows that are out right now that, again, I had main star character roles on, which was awesome. I did a lot of different commercials. I have 5 different billboards around the world, one in Sweden, one in DC, one in Houston, one in Dallas, and one in Canada. That is something that I never thought would happen. To see my face on a billboard and to see my face in stores was insane because I didn't get paid that great for all of them. To have my face in all these different places and not get paid enough for it, I was like, ooh, this is still cool. It was great. And then after my 3-year time in Atlanta was over, that was, again, where I did a lot of radio and TV work. I was like, you know what? I really want to get into radio full time. Let me go back to school. And that's when I decided to go to grad school. And I got into the University of Maryland College Park, where I received my master's of broadcast journalism. That was definitely a hard time because I was a news reporter at the same time while in school full time. And then COVID hit. That, when I tell you that was hard, y'all, that was so hard to be in school and also be an essential worker during COVID, away from my family and in a new territory where a lot of the people that I had just met either moved back home or they just stayed in their house because, rightfully so, it was COVID and we had to distance ourselves from each other. Whew, that was a lot. And so once I graduated from grad school in DC, I also worked in radio as well. So I did a lot. I would say I did a lot during grad school, full-time social media, full-time news reporter, full-time grad student, full-time in radio. It was a lot. And I was a house dad. If you guys know what that is, look up House Bunny. I was the male version of House Bunny. So I was pretty much, in simpler terms, an RA for a bunch of rowdy fraternity boys. And that was a time. They took me through the ringer, even though it was cool. I lived in a mansion. That was fun. So then after I graduated grad school, I moved to Dallas, and that's where I started working for Cumulus Media. I was out there for a year doing medium and large events. I was working part-time on the radio. I was also doing a lot of brand ambassador work out of Dallas. And I also worked as a live TV host as well. That was something that I did not expect to do in Dallas because when you think of Dallas, you don't think of TV. And I met a producer was like, no, I have a syndicated TV show. I want you to be our host, and I want you to host events as well. And that was, when I tell you, awesome. Dallas was my absolute favorite city to live in, hands down. Loved, loved, loved Dallas. Then after a year, I don't know how if you guys know, but radio and TV sometimes, like I said earlier, cannot pay enough, and you have to truly fight for your wages. And after that 1 year mark, I was like, hey, I'm doing all these amazing things for the company. Can I get some more money? They were like, no. And I was like, wow, I'm not getting enough money. I can't survive off this. I need to go somewhere else. And that's when I actually auditioned for a live game show in LA, and I got the part. So I got the part in LA, moved to LA, also worked as a RA at the same time. That was amazing. And during that process, I was doing the TV work, I was doing the live hosting work, I was working as an RA, and I was really making LA my time. It was a good time in LA until some stuff kind of went haywire. That's neither here or there. I'll talk about that in a later segment. And then during my time in LA, I was working at iHeart, and I was actually on the radio a lot more. And that's when I was heard at KSHP AM 1400 and 107.1 FM out of Vegas after also applying for a job. And I got a job in radio there. So then I started working full time in radio in Vegas. And after that, that's when I got a job here. So super long story short, but it's still a long story. That's who I am, Jaime Dee, a personality who is on TV, who is also on radio, who's on billboards, who's on commercials, who is just a very multifaceted person who loves everything entertainment and media. And I'm super excited to be here in Chicago, Illinois, where I was raised, where it all started, to be able to have this full 360 moment, because I grew up listening to radio, and I grew up in an era where radio was really everything and more. And to now be doing radio in a city that really built Jaime Dee is a dream come true. So I'm happy to be here, happy to be on this journey with you guys, and I'm happy for you all to get to know me more. So I'm gonna ring this bell. You guys will get used to the bell. This is the Jaime Dee Show. We're gonna take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to get into the daily news. So I don't want you guys to go anywhere. Like I said, the Jaime Dee Show covers entertainment, pop culture, social issues, and more. You want to stick around because you never know what you may hear. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
WRMN has proudly served the Fox River Valley for over 70 years. We're located at 14 Douglas Avenue, downtown Elgin. Right next to Studio 14 is our store known as the Redemption Center. You are always invited to stop by and see us to live large for less. The Redemption Center is the place to pick up your on-air orders, shop for certificates, and grab some brochures to learn about what we have to offer. Our Redemption Center phone number is 847-741-7700. WRMN invites you to tune in twice each week for the popular, entertaining Bell and Company, featuring Mario and his sidekick Livy as they motivate, inspire, and inform us with what's happening in the world. Join the fun Fridays from 6 to 7 and Saturdays at noon following the radio shopping show right here on WRMN AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
Get a head start to the week by listening to Sunday Nights with Bill Cunningham from 9 p.m. to midnight. Bill Cunningham is a nationally recognized radio and television host, veteran attorney, and business entrepreneur. Bill has forged a reputation as someone who is not shy about expressing an opinion or holding someone accountable. Cunningham has served as the uncommon voice of the common man. Sunday Nights with Bill Cunningham, beginning at 9 p.m. on Sundays, right here on WRMN AM 1410 and 96.7 FM. In the middle of the night, everything will be all right if you listen to Coast right here on WRMN 7 days a week from midnight to 5 a.m. Each night on Coast to Coast, listeners are captivated by George Noory with discussions on news and current events, conspiracy theories, UFOs, life after death, and all things curious and unexplained. Coast to Coast, every night, midnight to 5 a.m. right here on WRMN AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Jaime Dee Show. Woo! Live on WRMN AM 1410 out of Elgin, Chicago, Illinois, every Monday through Friday from 1 p.m. until 2 p.m. CST, and also live in Las Vegas, Nevada on KSHP AM 1400 and 107.1 FM every Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. until 12 p.m. PST. Yes, we are in 2 different time zones. Love to hear it. If you're just now tuning in, I introduced myself to the Elgin and Chicagoland community and told you all about where I come from, how I got into the business, what I'm doing now, and where I'm going to continue seeing myself here at WRMN and more. But now we're going to get into some daily news. And I want you guys to strap in because when I go over the daily news, it's always something happening that has you like, what? Oh, yeah. I spilled some tea over here. All right. So It's On Site posted that Bellevue Hospital, a renowned public hospital in New York, has come under scrutiny from performing weight loss surgeries on prisoners, resulting in claims of malnourishment, reports Business Insider. According to a New York Times investigation, the hospital conducted 3,000 weight loss surgeries this year, sometimes rushing inappropriate candidates through the process. Among the patients were at least 11 prisoners from the Rikers Island jail complex who underwent elective surgery. This bariatric surgery, a major operation that reduces the size of the stomach, requires patients to adhere to strict dietary changes, which can be nearly impossible in a prison setting. 2 prisoners, David Mustiga and Luis Perez, were elected for the surgery and complained of struggles with poor nutrition and complications following the surgery. Mustiga, weighing 300 pounds, felt pressured into the procedure without being informed about the challenges of recovering in jail. He lost over 100 pounds in less than 6 months and experienced hair loss. Perez faced difficulty in consuming enough protein and suffered from vomiting. Christopher Miller, a spokesperson for Bellevue, claimed that prisoners were, quote, screened and assessed like all others, end quote, and were kept at the hospital until they could eat the same food served in jail. The hospital's bariatric surgeons have an incentive to perform more surgeries as they earn higher wages based on the number of operations they conduct. Quote, it's all about the numbers, end quote. Dr. Carmen Cloer, who previously worked with Bellevue's bariatric department as a medical resident, told the Times. Quote, they're just turning through the cases, end quote. According to Times, the hospital receives approximately $11,000 and sometimes even more per procedure, which is usually funded by taxpayers since a majority of its patients are either on Medicaid or uninsured. Uninsured, that's insane. The fact that they're really out here performing surgeries on people and tricking them into these surgeries and also getting paid for doing this is insane. There's a lot of things that happen in our prison systems that we don't know about. And while I do understand that there's a lot of people in there who deserve to be in jail, and there's a lot of people who put themselves in that space so they don't have the right to complain, humans are still humans and we still have to care for one another. And depending on the crime, some people don't deserve to be in jail. And there's a lot of people going through the horribleness of being in jail because they just found themselves in there. And just because they're in jail does not mean we have to treat them like animals, because people are people. And we all know that treatment may start somewhere, but it extends into our actual communities, and we start seeing that stuff happen in our everyday life. So we got to pay attention to stuff like that, because you never know where all this mistreatment starts and how it can spread into our actual communities. All right, as stated by the Shade Room, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved 2 milestone treatments for sickle cell disease in patients 12 years and older. The approval includes the country's first gene editing treatment, Casgevy, as well as Lyfgenia, which uses a harmless virus to insert a gene into a patient's stem cells. Quote, sickle cell disease is a rare, debilitating, and life-threatening blood disorder with significant unmet need, and we are excited to advance the field, especially for individuals whose lives have been severely disrupted by the disease, by approving 2 cell-based gene therapies today. End quote. Dr. Nicole Verdon, the director of the Office of Therapeutic Products within the FDA Center for Biologics Evaluation and Research, said in a statement. Sickle cell, which is an inherited blood disorder, causes red blood cells to become misshapen half moons that get stuck inside blood vessels. This restricts blood flow, which can also cause debilitating pain and lead to premature death. According to the CDC, sickle cell disease, this disproportionately affects African Americans as it occurs in about 1 out of every 365 Black or African American births. The CAS-GV therapy reportedly has a U.S. list price of $2.2 million, while Lyfgenia's is $3.1 million. Both therapies, which are believed to be one-time treatments, will be available in early 2024. Now, while it's amazing to have cures, while it's amazing to see advancements in therapies and being able to rid people of their diseases and more, 2.2 million for the list price and 3.1 million for the other list price, that's insane. Now, I am no doctor and I'm also not an individual who works in insurance, but I would love to know whose insurance is paying for that. And the out-of-pocket cost, who is paying for that? That's a lot. 2.1 million and 2.2 million and 3.1 million. That's insane. I personally believe that if we're going to actually create cures and create remedies and therapies that are able to help individuals and help them get through their diseases, it should be affordable. That just goes to show you that Big Pharma cares more about the money than they do the people. And that's very sad. That is very sad. I really want more for our communities. And that's why I said you got to pay attention to where things are happening, because a lot of times they're working on animals and they're working on prisoners and they're bringing that stuff out here. And then they're saying, hey, here's the product. We may or may not even know if it works, but it costs this much money. I just tell everybody, make sure to do your own research, make sure to ask questions, and do your best to save, because it is so expensive to live in the world right now. All right, Hollywood Unlocked stated that a 45-year-old Chicago man who accidentally struck himself in the booty with his own firearm gets 10 years in prison for possessing the weapon that injured him. Gregory Sherman, a 19-time convicted felon who's been working as an anti-violence professional, recently learned his fate after accidentally shooting himself in the butt inside of a Bucktown gas station on July 9th of 2022. After the incident, Sherman walked into the St. Elizabeth Hospital with a gunshot wound in his bottom. Prosecutors said the bullet had passed entirely through his left butt cheek and struck his right foot. Initially, Sherman allegedly told Chicago Police Department officials that he was closing a dispensary in the 1500 block of North Milwaukee when there was a fight outside. He said someone fired a couple of shots, striking him as he walked by. Sherman eventually tried to have his police statement suppressed at trial, claiming he was under the influence of prescription drugs when questioned. Investigators eventually pieced together what actually happened and realized that while Sherman was speaking with officers, other officers responded to a call at the Shell gas station at 1768 West Armitage. 911 callers reported that a man ran out of a Shell after shooting himself. Also, surveillance footage from the gas station allegedly showed Sherman standing in line when a flash erupted near his back pocket upon adjusting his pants. During his bail hearing, a prosecutor claimed that after the flash went off, Sherman, quote, jumped and then hobbled out of the gas station back to his vehicle, end quote. Before fleeing, he allegedly stopped and handed a, quote, black object, end quote, to someone near the gas pumps. A shell casing was eventually found at the scene, but police never found the gun. Ultimately, during his trial this summer, Sherman, who served as his own attorney at times, was convicted of Class X armed habitual criminal, and was recently sentenced to 10 years in prison by Judge Mary Brosenhan. Wow. You shot yourself in the butt and found yourself back in jail as an anti-violence professional. How does that work? I mean, he is a 19-time convicted felon. And while I truly believe that people can turn their lives around, geez, how do you find yourself in that space where you shoot your own self in the butt and go to jail for shooting yourself in the butt with the gun you had in your pocket? Ooh, I really want to know why his gun erupted and went off because he adjusted his pants. Like, did he not have his safety on? What was going on? And also, too, I just firmly believe that while everyone has the right to bear arms, some people just don't need guns. Some people just don't need guns because how? Now, I do understand that there are some cases where guns do malfunction. That is a real thing. That is a real thing. But a lot of the times it is user error. So I want to know, what did this man do? And why did he try to get away with it? Because you know you weren't going to. There's cameras all over the place. I mean, there's cameras in places you wouldn't even think there's cameras in. I remember I was hiking in Vegas and I went up a trail and there was a camera in the middle of the desert on a pole. I was like, bruh, they even have cameras out here. Geez, you can't go nowhere without surveillance. So I don't know why this man thought he would get away with it, but it's what happens when you don't pay attention to what you're doing and you aren't doing what you're actually supposed to do. And he was probably doing something wrong and got caught up. All right, y'all, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna have some more news. So don't go anywhere. This is the Jaime Dee Show live on WRMN AM 1410 out of Elgin, Chicago, every Monday through Friday from 1 p.m. until 2 p.m. CST, and live in Las Vegas, Nevada on KSHP AM 1400 and 107.1 FM every Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. until 12 p.m. PST. I'll be right back. More daily news. Stay there.
For a little lighthearted lawlessness on Sunday afternoons, listen to Handle on the Law from 4 to 7 p.m. Handle on the Law is a unique combination of useful legal advice and outrageous handle remarks. Whether you're talking about Big Brother, big business, big legal problems, or Big Macs, you'll rarely find Bill without an opinion. His rapid-fire commentary gives listeners the information they crave in the way they crave it. It's Handle on the Law, Sunday afternoons from 4 to 7 p.m. right here on WRMN AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
For almost 40 years, shoppers have been living large for less with the Radio Shopping Show, and you can too. Check out hundreds of items available now at WRMN1410.com and listen to the Radio Shopping Show daily from 10 a.m. to noon and during your weekday afternoon drive. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook at WRMN1410 Radio and to download our app so you can listen anytime, anywhere. Keep on listening to WRMN AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
Hey there, this is Tammy Scully with the Radio Shop Show, inviting you to live large for less by listening to the Radio Shopping Show weekdays from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and from 4 to 6 p.m. and on Saturdays from 8 a.m. to noon. Check out our website at WRMN1410.com and come see us sometime at 14 Douglas Avenue in downtown Elgin, home of local radio for 75 years, including the Radio Shopping Show for over 40 years. We are WRMN AM 1410 and WRMN 1410 Radio on
Here at WRMN Radio, we try to connect with the community and discuss important issues like our current mental health crisis. Here's Lori Baker, President and CEO of AID.
I think most people, when they see young children thinking about suicide at the ages of 5 and 6 and 7, I mean, that's shocking to me that children even know that they want to harm themselves somehow.
Discussions like this take place on the first shift, weekday mornings from 6 to 10, right here on WRMN AM 1410 and WRMN 1410 Radio on Facebook.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Jaime Dee Show. Woo! Live on WRMN AM 1410 out of Elgin in Chicagoland area every Monday through Friday from 1 p.m. until 2 p.m. CST, and live in Las Vegas, Nevada on KSHP AM 1400 and 107.1 FM every Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. until 12 p.m. PST. We are live in 2 time zones. Right now, I'm technically traveling back in time because it's around 11:29 in Vegas and it's 1:29 here in the Elgin/Chicagoland area. It's an absolute pleasure to have you all listening in. If you're listening in your cars right now, thank you so much for not turning the radio dial. For those who are listening on the YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, or Instagram, I truly appreciate you. That's the Jaime Dee Show, spelled TheJaimedEeshow. This is a real live radio show, y'all. And if you want to see the behind the scenes again, hop on over to the YouTube at the Jaime Dee Show, and you can see what I actually look like. Or you can always pass by WRMN AM 1410 and wave and say hi. There is a big glass mirror right here, and I can see outside, and you can see inside. So come say hi to one of your new favorite radio personalities. Yes, joining the WRMN AM 1410 team. Super happy to be here. Yes. All right, if you're just now tuning in, I already did an introduction to myself, went over some daily news, and now we have some more daily news. Daily Wire reported that companies are scraping their college degree requirement as sky-high tuition cost keeps four-year degrees out of reach for many young people. Several U.S. companies including Google, Walmart, IBM, Bank of America, Accenture have announced plans to slash number of their jobs that require college degrees. At Walmart, hundreds of corporate roles no longer require a college degree. The company saying last month that it wants to remove unnecessary barriers to career advancement. Walmart also said it will waive the college degree requirement if a candidate can demonstrate it developed the necessary skills through previous experience or another kind of learning. I love that. College tuition prices have been rising for years, pricing more and more families out of higher education and causing students to take out tens of thousands of dollars in massive student loans. Some experts say companies placing less emphasis on degrees is a sign that companies are focusing more on skills. Quote, if you're going to work for a tech company, what's more important, a college degree or practical experience that you can code? And quote, entrepreneur Ted Jenkins, CEO and founder of Exit Stage Left Advisors and Oxygen Financial, told Fox News. Quote, it's becoming clear with the out of control cost of college education that the very word degree is getting watered down and companies want to hire people who can actually prove they can get things done, Jenkins said. Google has been scraping the degree requirement for certain positions for several years. About 93% of Google's jobs postings included a degree requirement in 2017. But by 2021, the number had dropped to 77%, according to a Burning Glass Institute report. For entry-level positions, Google also allows its online certificate program to replace the four-year degree requirement. Apple has also seen an 18% drop in its job postings that include a degree requirement. In 2017, 88% required a bachelor's degree, but that dropped to 72% in 2021, according to the report. IBM announced in 2021 that it was stripping bachelor degree requirements for more than half of its U.S. job openings, saying the company was moving to, quote, prioritize skills over specific degrees, end quote. Bank of America said last year that it dropped college degree requirements for most of its entry-level positions. At Accenture, a Dublin-based information technology services and consulting company, 80% of the company's 1,200 employees do not have four-year degrees. Instead, Accenture has an apprenticeship program. Overall, 46% of middle skill occupations and 31% of high skill occupations saw their college degree requirements drop, the Burning Glass Institute reported. Now, personally, I love this. As somebody who has a bachelor's degree in communication arts and a master's in broadcast journalism, I loved my college experience. I loved what I went through well, actually, I don't love what I went through, but I love that I was able to get through what I went through to come out on top and have my degrees. However, what I also know is that even though my degrees have helped me out a lot, majority of my experience came from real world experience. And majority of the jobs that I've gotten, probably 97% of them, I learned while on the job. Or I was taught before the fact. But majority of the times I didn't apply to a job where they're like, yeah, you need to come in with these skills and just automatically have the skills. They taught me. Seriously. And even when you do come in with a skill and you start using it, they always try to fine tune you a little bit and get you to acclimate yourself to that company's culture or their climate and how they do things. And for example, working in radio in one city may have you doing one thing, and you may move to a different city and you may do a totally different thing. You may know how to do radio generally, but radio and commercial radio versus community radio versus public radio versus private radio, it's all different. And they all have different procedures and ways of doing things. So you may think, okay, cool, I went and got my degree, I know what I'm doing. No, by the time you actually get your butt in that role, you're like, wow, they didn't teach me most of this stuff in school. Most stuff I learned in school, I didn't even use. And I don't know how y'all feel, but personally, my degrees are so specific that I'm using, I would say, my communications degree. Obviously, I have to communicate verbally and non-verbally, so I'm using all of that degree. Broadcast journalism, I'm pretty much using, I would say, about 75% of my degree, because I am reporting on news, I am speaking, I am using, my SPJ code of ethics. There's a lot of things I'm using, but there's also a lot of other things I'm not using. And one thing you realize too is that even though you may go to school for a specific degree and you may think, okay, this is how I'm going to do things, you get into the real world and you realize, oh, wait, what they said you had to do in school, you really don't have to do in the real world. I'm just saying. So I appreciate the fact that people are getting with the times and understanding that COVID took us out. A lot of us are broke. A lot of us are trying to make it back through, and a lot of us need some money. So yes, make jobs more practical to apply for and to actually get, because a lot of people have the necessary skills to work the jobs, but just may not have the degree. They may have a certificate or they may have real world experience. And a lot of times they probably know and can do way more than somebody who has a degree. Degrees don't mean everything. That's coming from a person who has 2 of them with several certificates. All right, the Neighborhood Talk posted that all federally regulated employers, including federal public service departments, banks, airports, and train stations, must provide free menstrual products in all employee bathrooms. Canada Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's administration is requiring all federally regulated employers in Canada to provide menstrual products in all bathrooms to accommodate transgender employees. According to Fox News, the change to Canada's labor code was announced in May of 2023 and went into effect this month, and specified that menstrual products must be in, quote, all toilet rooms, regardless of their marked genders, end quote. Quote, this means that every female identified, male identified, and all gender toilet rooms will need to have menstrual products, end quote. Canada's Employment and Social Development website said, workplace bathrooms must have a covered disposal container in every toilet stall. Personally, I'm of the belief that I don't care what y'all do. If you're not hurting yourself, other people, or animals, I really don't care. Put the products where you want to put the products. I was born a male. I identify as a male. I am a male. And if I go into a bathroom and I see a tampon or a menstrual product, I'm going to just look at it and be like, okay, I guess they have them in here now. Like, it's not going to stop my life. It's not going to make me uncomfortable. It's not going to make me feel like I can't use the bathroom. I personally see bathrooms as bathrooms. I don't care. I'm not trying to spend a time in there anyway. Most of the times, even if when they are clean, I still don't want to be in bathrooms. Bathrooms are, ugh. I just don't care about bathrooms. So personally, whatever's in the bathroom is in there. If you ain't hurt nobody, I know this is going to send a lot of people in a tizzy. Of course, this is happening in Canada. But like I said earlier in the show, things start in one area and move to other communities. So you never know how this could affect America and how this can actually come to America. Personally, I don't care. I know there's going to be a lot of people out there like, no, why in the men's bathroom, men, and leave transgenders out of this? And I think all that stuff is just political nowadays, and they're using that to distract people from what's really going on. I could care less. I'm just not going to use it, period. All right, per Fox News, a Tesla engineer was reportedly a victim of a bloody attack by a robot at a factory near Austin, Texas. Recent reports revealed a 2021 injury report that claims a robot designed to move aluminum car parts pinned the engineer against a surface and dug its metal claws into his back and arm, according to witnesses who spoke to the information in a story published last month. After another worker hit an emergency stop button, the engineer maneuvered his way out of the robot's grasp, falling a couple of feet down a chute designed to collect scrap aluminum and leaving a trail of blood behind him, one of the witnesses told the information. The attack reportedly occurred while the engineer was programming software for 2 disabled Tesla robots nearby. In 2022, the Tesla Texas Gigafactory was subject to a federal investigation for failing to pay workers holiday, overtime, and other earned wages. Staff attorney Hannah Alexander of the Workers Defense Project told a local news outlet the unpaid wages range from a few thousand to tens of thousands of dollars. Quote, for a corporation, 100, 1,000, or 10,000 is nothing. For a community, that is rent. that is groceries for the week. The difference between paying the utilities or not, end quote. Virginia Padillo, a Workers' Defense Project board member, said during a press conference last year. The group filed complaints with the U.S. Labor Department and the U.S. Occupational Safety and Health Administration, OSHA, alleging contractors and subcontractors gave some workers fake safety certificates. Quote, workers report that when they needed training, they were simply sent PDF files or images of certificates through text or WhatsApp in a matter of days when there's no conceivable way workers could have taken the training required, end quote. Alexander told KXAN News. Insane. Wow. Man, technology is a great thing, but technology can also be scary. And what I don't want to happen is iRobot. Y'all know what that is, right? iRobot. That's the one that had Will Smith in it, right? Is that what it was? Is it iRobot? Is that maybe am I saying that right? Which one was it? Yeah, iRobot with Will Smith. No, I don't want that happening. I don't want robots turning against us. And I just couldn't imagine being pinned against a wall and having metal claws scraped through your back. Insane. I am wishing that man a full recovery. Like Kara said on YouTube, lawsuits incoming. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. YouTube, I see we have Kara. I see we have Fab Five. So Kara's out of Arizona. She's in Phoenix. Fab Five is in Dallas, Texas. We have Nicholas Hadd out of Atlanta, Georgia. We have Room 209 out of Houston. We have GTGYK. We have Rick. People are listening into the Jaime Dee Show from all parts of the world. This is amazing, y'all. This is my first day live in the Elgin/Chicagoland market. And I'm excited to be here. I'm on WRMN AM 1410 every Monday through Friday from 1 p.m. until 2 p.m. CST. And I'm live in Las Vegas, Nevada on KSHP AM 1400 and 107.1 FM every Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. until 12 p.m. CST. Don't go anywhere, guys. When we come back, we're going to reflect on 2023 together. Yes, I'm going to get personal with y'all. Real personal. I'm going to reflect on my past year with you all. Stay tuned. This is Jaime Dee Show.
Anderson's Engraving at 55 Douglas Avenue in downtown Elgin proudly provided the classic car show plaques and trophies for Back to the Blue 22. Anderson's has been serving Elgin since 1961 with plaques, trophies, engravings, mugs, medals, name badges, imprinting. You need it, they do it. And unlike some of their online competition, they give you quality products and quick service from a long-time local business. Call them at 847-742-5434 or check them out online at weddingprinter.net. Michael Brown, former Undersecretary of Homeland Security and Director of FEMA, is your new full-time host of The Weekend, which airs every Saturday from 4 to 7 p.m. right here on WRMN. Each week on the popular 3-hour program, Brown offers listeners a fresh take on the weekend talk with his provocative insights into current events, politics, and culture. So late in the day on Saturday, make it a point to catch The Weekend with Michael Brown right here on WRMN AM 1410 and 96.7 FM.
When you need your banker, they should be ready to put you first. At Wintrust, you can have the banking experience you need and the one you deserve. Ready for a change? We've made it even easier. Our new sophisticated online platform makes opening accounts a breeze, but our bankers are always here for you. Open a new Total Access checking account in minutes at wintrust.com/fast. Plus, get $300. $100 required to open. Requirements to qualify. Must use link to apply. Member FDIC.
Stop in at the Lake in the Hills Tattoo Company, just off Randall and Polaris Drive, and talk to one of the experienced tattoo and piercing experts about getting your first or next tattoo or piercing. Lake in the Hills Tattoo Company will provide a comfortable, relaxing environment for you. Call 847-458-1155 to schedule an appointment, or stop in at 61 Polaris Drive, Unit Number 1, and talk to one of the artists at Lake in the Hills Tattoo Company.
Hey, turn it up, y'all. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Jaime Dee Show. Woo! Live on WRMN AM 1410 every Monday through Friday from 1 p.m. until 2 p.m. CST and live in Las Vegas, Nevada on KSHP AM 1400 and 107.1 FM every Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. until 12 p.m. PST. Yes, we're live in 2 different time zones. The Jaime Dee Show is expanding, and he's super happy. I'm he, to be in the Elgin/Chicago land area. For those who are enjoying themselves, thank you for not turning the radio dial. And for everybody else who's listening on the YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, or Facebook, I really appreciate you. We're live at the Jaime Dee Show. That's TheJaimeDeeshow. Welcome. If you're just now tuning in, I introduced myself to the Elgin/Chicagoland community, went over some daily news, and now we're going to take some time to get real personal and reflect on 2023. Now, a lot happened to me in 2023, and I don't have that much time to go over everything, but I'm going to go over some stuff. I think I'm going to stop around like September, October. I'm going to try to get through all the months, but let's get into it. Honestly, 2023 was a crap show. A lot of horrible things happened to me, y'all, and like all at once, and every time it felt like it was something so drastic. But also, a lot of amazing things started happening for me too. It was just hard for me to recognize and appreciate it during all the madness, and being able to sit down and be like, hey, let's reflect on all the things. Let me realize it was bad, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Because there was a lot of things that I was afforded that I would have never been able to thought that I would have never thought I would ever be afforded. And for that, I am grateful. I don't know what you all believe in. I'm not here to preach, but I do believe in God, and I do appreciate him for putting things in my life that, one, I deserve, but also, two, that I worked hard for. Shout out to Taylor Jeanette on the Instagram right now. She is my little sister. Oh, hi, Taylor. But yes, I worked for it. And so reflecting on my 2023 made me realize, like, yeah, a lot of great things happened too. I know it felt dark. I know it felt like I had my back against the wall. I know I felt alone a lot of the time, but I did a lot of amazing things as well. And that deserves just as much exposure, just as much joy, just as much thought, just as much reflection as the negative and bad things that happened to me in 2023. And I hope me being transparent with you all and diving deep into my reflection allows you guys to take a step back and reflect on your 2023. And for you all to be able to say, you know what? That was my 2023. We're now in 2024. And whether you believe in New Year, New Me or not, every day is a new day to start something new, to change your life around, to be a brand new you. So if you want to be festive and you want to use the new year to do that, do that. But if you want to just say, hey, forget the new year, every day is a new day, use today or tomorrow or the day after that to reflect and start anew in your own life. All right, so December of 2022 is where the madness actually started for me. I lost both of my jobs, y'all. I lost my job as a social media influencer manager and a live mobile app game show host in LA while paying $2,000 for a 1-bedroom, 1-bath on top of my bills and car note. And that's how I went into 2023. Jobless, needing some money, and bills stacking up. Y'all, I didn't get a credit card until I think 25, around that age. And ask everybody who knows me. I am frugal, and I make sure to pay my bills, and I make sure to keep my bills and my credit card low or at zero. I try my best, but man, going into December of 2022 and then into January after dealing with December of 2022, December threw me for a loop. My credit card was being used way more than I should have ever used it, but it was an emergency. I didn't have a job and I had it to. And that, I don't know about y'all, but credit card debt or any debt in general gives me anxiety. It makes me feel like I am not doing something right. It makes me feel like I am going to end up in the alley somewhere because they're going to come for me. That's how I feel. And so when I started January, I still had no job and I was racking up credit card debt, but I started getting invited to Jason Lee events. Shout out to Jason Lee. And if you don't know who he is, he's the entertainment media mogul who owns the famed media blog Hollywood Unlocked. He puts on and owns the Impact Awards, which is a new award show celebrating and honoring celebrities who have made an impact in our communities, and he does a lot more. And to be around Jason Lee and other celebrities and people who are doing the darn thing in the media industry was amazing. And it was awesome being introduced into those spaces and still having access to those spaces even today. Shout out to people who got me into those spaces. Shout out to Jason Lee, and shout out to those who continue to invite me out to stuff. I really appreciate y'all. I also started personally getting out to a lot of the Who's events in LA, and also started meeting people who kept me in the loop of private celebrity events happening around the city. Let me give that bell ring to those people, because let me tell y'all, in the entertainment and media industry, gatekeepers are a real thing. I know that's like that in all other career fields and industries, but let me tell y'all, especially in the entertainment industry, gatekeeping is a disease, y'all. And people gatekeep like it's their 9 to 5. It's insane. So to be able to get into those spaces, because those people who weren't gatekeeping, I appreciate y'all. Thank you. I'm very grateful. I also found out in January that the video I did with Cardi B on her birthday got over 3 million views, and I was hired at iHeartRadio. That was amazing. In February, I started getting to be on the radio more at iHeart. At that time, I was just doing some board work and sometimes some part-time on-air work. But once I started actually speaking up more and saying, hey, I want to be on the radio more, I want to talk more, they started putting me on the radio more. And I started getting fans. I started getting people calling in saying, we want to hear more from Jaime Dee, or what does Jaime Dee have to say? It was awesome. I really appreciated that. That was great. Shout out to iHeartRadio. In February, like I said, I started to get on the radio more and even got my name out there to the point where I was able to get into a bunch of Grammy events. The Grammy events were so much fun because I got to see some of my celebrity friends that I've worked in movies and over the years, got to meet like Drea Michelle, Tiana Taylor, Vito, Chicago Hurricane, Amber Riley, Candy from Escape, and the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and more people. I even got to skate with Usher. That was fun. He tried to trip me, but I got to skate with Usher, and that was fun. That was my personal Vegas residency, actually being able to skate with Usher. Fun times. March is when I got hired at KSHP AM 1400 and 107.1 FM as a co-host on a live afternoon radio show, and that was truly a dream come true. I've been applying for radio jobs for over 9 years and never had true luck. I was always working project to project with radio stations or part-time, and that was my first full-time role. April was when things really started going downhill for me, and things started getting like sticky. My apartment I had just moved into flooded, and I got super sick for an entire month, not only because of allergies, but because I was living in a place that had mold in it, and I had no clue. No clue. And they weren't trying to let me get out of the apartment, even though it was flooded so bad to the point where it went through the downstairs neighbor's roof. They had to come and renovate the entire apartment. There was mold showing. They didn't even want me to move out. I had to go to social media and blast them in a viral video for them to let me out of the lease and get my money back. When I tell you that was hard, y'all, it was hard. May, my co-host and I weren't really seeing eye to eye on the way we wanted the show to go, and sales weren't coming in fast enough. And so we just decided to part ways. And wow, the dude's doing amazing. I'm proud of him. He is doing the darn thing in his own space and really creating a space for him. And really, when I say making impact, he's doing the darn thing. It was just a time where we had to realize, like, hey, we'd be better off on our own. No hard feelings. And we just separated. Even though they kind of broke me for a little bit, because I was like, dang, like, I finally got a job. Now I don't. But it was like for us to be healthy and for us to, support each other for real, and to really help each other grow. It was better to like do what we did and then separate ways. And that was fine. I mean, it's no hard feelings. And people ask me about it all the time, but that's really what happened. We just separated because he wanted one thing, I wanted one thing, and that's how adults are. That's literally life, and that's totally okay. June, I got attacked by some random drunks on Fremont Street. And if you've never been to Vegas, that's the downtown area. And the police didn't even try to help me or even see my side, even though there were witnesses who stood around to tell them like, hey, no, he got jumped. They were drunk. We don't know what they were on. And it wasn't until I had to pull up a video, because I waited before I pulled up the video. It wasn't until I had to pull up a video proving that I was a victim that they were like, okay, we're going to try to listen to you. And that really sent me in a spiral, because it was like too much back to back. Flooding. Now I'm not on the radio anymore at this point. I got attacked on my birthday. Like, that was insane. But then also in June, Mark, the station manager of KSHP AM 1400 and 107.1 FM, saw the light, passion, and experience in me and offered me my very own live morning radio show. Shout out to Mark. And that was legit a dream come true. Having my very own live morning radio talk show was and still is a bucket list career item because I never thought I'd get to truly experience that in my lifetime. And Mark made that happen. Shout out to Mark. I appreciate him. I even got to interview celebrities on the 2023 BET red carpet as my own brand and live morning radio personality. And that was just an outstanding experience. July, I really started getting traction and popularity in Vegas and in many other major cities. I started hosting my own events. I got sponsored for my live morning radio show. Sales started booming for me. I even got to go to Essence Fest and do my live morning radio show from remote locations with one of my favorite people and managers, Tracy the Way Up CEO. Shout out to her. That was just OMG. 10 out of 10. August, I got more sponsors and started having a lot of great interviews on my show. I even got to party with Cardi B again. Now, running out of time, but September, October, November, a lot of stuff happened then. December, oh my gosh, I got into a car accident. I thought I lost my life. I had blacked out, came to, realized that my car was total. It was just a mess. It was just a mess. But in December, I also got the promotion to WRMN AM 1410. And now I'm here and I'm also in Vegas. Shout out to the WRMN AM 1410 team. Shout out to Matt. Shout out to Leah. Shout out to Brian. Shout out to everybody for welcoming me. Dang, I can't say that. Welcoming me in. And shout out to Mark Hayes for championing me and making sure I got this role. I appreciate each and every one of you. Shout out to you all. You guys made going into 2024 a dream come true. And I already know 2024 is going to be the year of amazing things for me, adventure, new job opportunities, a lot of money coming in, security, more celebrity interviews, more celebrity interactions, me even being more of a celebrity, me getting more out of life, me being happier, positive in life and attitude and healthy and wiser. This is going to be an amazing year for me. And I receive, accept, and claim only good things. And I want the rest of that to also go to you all as well. All right, everybody, that is the end of the Jaime Dee Show. First day, Friday on WRMN AM 1410 from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. CST. And I'm also live in Las Vegas, Nevada on KSHP AM 1400 and 107.1 FM every Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. PST. You can find me on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, or Facebook at The Jaime Dee Show. That's TheJaimedEeshow. If you want to promote your business, products, services, music, or more, hit us up at info@JaimeDee.com. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out, everybody.